Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications because today's video is packed with updates, strategies, and potential draft scenarios that could reshape the Dallas Cowboys outlook heading into the 2025 NFL season. We've got a lot to talk about, from possible trades to key positional needs, so buckle up and let's dive deep into what might be ahead for America's team. First off, let's talk strategy. There's a real sense that if a core player is unexpectedly moved, whether via trade or due to unforeseen circumstances, the entire draft approach could shift dramatically. In that case, the Cowboys might look to trade down from their current first-round position. Dropping back could give them a second-rounder in return, and they might pivot to selecting an offensive lineman with that first pick. That kind of move could set the tone for the rest of the draft, where they target a running back and a cornerback with their next two selections. It's a pragmatic approach, protecting the quarterback, replenishing the run game, and securing help in the secondary. Another intriguing option would be to trade down twice, potentially walking away with 3 second-round picks. If that happens, the front office will be hoping a quality defensive lineman falls into their lap. But if not, they might be forced to move back up late in the first round to secure a defensive prospect who fits their scheme. These scenarios are exciting, but we've got to be careful with relying too much on mock drafts and simulations. Those can be helpful for building a big picture outlook, but they often present overly optimistic possibilities that don't mirror the chaotic reality of draft day. One moment you've got your eye on a top target, and the next, another team jumps ahead and snatches him right out from under you. That's why the Cowboys need to remain flexible. What looks like a smart plan on paper can unravel quickly when other front offices start scrambling and phones start ringing. So while the idea of multiple second-round picks or a late first-round defensive steal is appealing, it has to be executed with precision. The draft is less about best-laid plans and more about quick reactions and season value when it presents itself. Now let's shift the conversation to the wide receiver position. If the Cowboys are targeting a top-tier wideout, it's worth discussing what traits truly make a receiver elite in today's NFL. The prototype isn't just about size or speed anymore. It's about versatility, the ability to line up both, inside and out, run crisp routes, separate consistently from coverage, and create danger after the catch. A truly dangerous receiver isn't just a deep threat or a possession guy, he's a chess piece. One name that comes to mind in this mold is a player who's one of the best in the country at shaking free from defenders and making plays once the ball is in his hands. What's more, he's built a strong rapport with his quarterback, which can't be overstated. Chemistry leads to trust, and trust leads to big plays in key moments. And here's the cool part. A lot of this insight came straight from you, the fans, through the YouTube community feature where viewers can share their takes in real time. That back and forth creates a richer conversation, and it's a big reason why we love doing these videos. Speaking of community feedback, what are your thoughts on Jimmy Horn Jr. out of Colorado? He's an intriguing prospect. At 5'8" and 178 pounds, he projects as a slot receiver with added value in the return game. He's currently graded as a 7th rounder, though some believe he could sneak into the 5th if a team likes his versatility and special teams contributions. Horn didn't exactly blow up the combine, but on film he plays with more juice than his measurements might suggest. His primary role at Colorado was as a screen guy, largely because their offensive line struggled to provide time. So while he wasn't running a full route tree, that doesn't necessarily mean he can't. That said, Dallas already has a shifty, undersized slot guy who can return kicks and execute gadget plays. So Horn's role might be redundant unless he proves he can do something exceptional that the current roster can't offer. Now, let's touch on a potential wild card, Josh Butler. He's not flying under the radar exactly, but there are serious questions after he tore his ACL back in November. Recovery timelines for knee injuries vary, and it's doubtful he'll be ready for Week 1. Plus, being an ex-UFFL player with limited tape doesn't exactly inspire confidence. The best case scenario might be letting him compete for a role rather than penciling him in as a depth option. The bottom line? Dallas has to be honest about his cornerback situation. How concerned should fans be? On a scale from 1 to 10, I'd say we're looking at a solid 7. There's uncertainty around both health and depth, And while nickel corner is a role that can sometimes be filled late in the draft, it's not something you want to leave to chance. Then there's Deuce Vaughn. There's a strong chance he won't make the final roster. That's not a knock on his talent, but between his limited size and the team's need for a more complete back, it's hard to see him having a major role. Expect Dallas to target a running back early, perhaps as early as the second round. A name that's gaining steam is Caleb Johnson. If he's available in round 2, he makes a lot of sense, especially for outside zone concepts. He's got this vision and burst to hit the edge, and that's an area where Dallas has been looking to expand. Pair him with a late round flyer like Raheem Sanders, and you've got two very different but complementary backs. Sanders, despite being more of a 6th or 7th round projection, showed some promising traits during testing, including improved agility and better initial burst than expected. He's had some conditioning issues in the past, but there's upside if he can stay locked in. Before we move on, we need to address the elephant in the room, Micah Parsons. Anytime there's contract drama involving a star like Parsons, fans start to sweat. But let's be clear, this isn't about whether the Cowboys want to keep him. They do. This is about the logistics. The holdup likely centers on the absence of an agent. Without representation, the negotiations move slower. It's not just about the money, though that's obviously a factor. It's about duration and structure. Longer contracts mean more guaranteed cash, and the Cowboys need to tread carefully while also recognizing Parsons' value. The reality is, if both sides really wanted this done, it could be finalized in 24 hours. So far, that hasn't happened, which suggests there's more at play. Maybe they're waiting for other deals around the league to set a new market, or maybe there's hesitance from Parsons' camp to lock in long term without the right structure. Either way, it's a situation that needs resolution soon. We've also seen growing buzz around Hunter from Auburn, another name to keep an eye on. He's got that tough downhill running style that fans love. And while his shuttle time wasn't great, his 40-yard dash came in at an impressive 4.44 seconds. That kind of straight line speed paired with good lower body strength makes him a solid option in the 4th round. There are some concerns with his lateral movement and vision, but the potential is there. And don't sleep on guys like Dylan Sampson or Tim Hoover. Both could be mid-round steals depending on how the board falls. There's real depth in this class, especially from late 2nd to early 4th, and it would be smart for the Cowboys to take advantage. If the Cowboys miss out on a wide receiver early, don't rule out the possibility of bringing back a familiar face like Amari Cooper. He brings that outside presence and still has juice left. Compared to someone like Keenan Allen, Cooper may be the better fit for this scheme, especially if the team needs a quick plug-and-play option. All right, folks, we've covered a lot already. Draft trades, prospects, position battles, and potential reunions. But we're just getting started. Stick around for the next segment where we'll break down the defensive prospects from LSU and Georgia and dive into how they could shape the identity of this team moving forward. Leave your thoughts in the comments and tell me, what's your draft daydream scenario for the Cowboys? All right, let's continue breaking down the draft possibilities for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, as we transition from offensive prospects to defensive ones, it's important to keep in mind that while the Cowboys' offense is solid, the defense has room for improvement, particularly in the secondary and along the defensive line. The upcoming draft presents an opportunity to shore up these areas, and there are some intriguing names that could help elevate this defense to a championship level. Starting with the defensive line, let's talk about a name that's been generating a lot of buzz. Jalen Carter out of Georgia. Carter is a dominant force on the interior, and while he's primarily a pass rusher, his ability to disrupt plays against the run is what sets him apart. He's the kind of player who can instantly change the complexion of a game, and if the Cowboys decide to go all in on improving their defensive line, Carter would be a great addition. The Cowboys have been solid against the run, but they've lacked that true dominant force up front who can collapse the pocket and generate pressure on the quarterback. With Carter's ability to play both inside and outside, he offers the kind of versatility that can keep offenses guessing and help free up their other pass rushers like Micah Parsons, who thrives when he's given the freedom to move around the field. However, the Cowboys will need to be strategic here. Carter is a top-tier talent, and there's a good chance he'll be off the board by the time Dallas picks. So the front office has to be prepared for that reality and have other defensive prospects lined up in case they need to pivot. Another name to keep an eye on is Brian Bresee from Clemson. Bresee is another versatile defensive lineman who can be a disruptor in both the run game and as a pass rusher. His 6'5", 300-pound frame is ideal for anchoring the line. And while his college career has been somewhat inconsistent due to injuries, his upside is undeniable. If Bresee falls into Dallas's lap, it could be an easy decision for them to take a shot at a player with such high potential. Let's also shift our focus to the linebacker position. It's an area of strength for the Cowboys, with players like Leighton Vander Esch and Micah Parsons leading the charge. But depth is important, especially when considering the wear and tear that can pile up over the course of a 17-game season. A name that's starting to gain traction is Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. Simpson is a sideline-to-sideline linebacker with exceptional speed and coverage ability. He's the type of player who can cover tight ends and running backs in the passing game, an area where the Cowboys have been looking for improvement. With his ability to move in space and cover ground quickly, Simpson could provide immediate competition to the current linebacker core. The Cowboys will need to figure out how to best use him in tandem with the likes of Vander Esch and Parsons, but his versatility makes him an intriguing option, especially if they want to get more aggressive on defense. The Cowboys could also look to bolster their secondary, which has been inconsistent at times. While Trevon Diggs has emerged as one of the top corners in the league, the depth behind him isn't as strong as the Cowboys would like. A cornerback like Joey Porter Jr. out of Penn State could be the answer. Porter is a tall, physical corner who excels in press coverage. His ability to shut down bigger receivers makes him a great fit for a team that often faces larger physical wideouts in the NFC East. His size and length give him an edge in one-on-one situations, and with some fine-tuning, he could develop into one of the league's top corners. Pairing him with Diggs could create one of the most formidable cornerback duos in the NFL, making it even harder for opposing quarterbacks to find open receivers. Another cornerback who could make a significant impact is Kelee Ringo from Georgia. Ringo has great size, speed, and athleticism, but his consistency has been a bit of a concern at times. He's got all the physical tools you want in a corner, and if he can put it all together, he has the potential to be a lockdown corner in the NFL. With the Cowboys' tendency to lean heavily on their secondary in passing situations, Ringo could be a solid option to develop into a starting role, especially if they don't land Porter. His high ceiling and raw talent are certainly worth considering if he falls to a later round. Switching gears, the Cowboys' safety position has been another area of discussion. While Donovan Wilson has been solid, the team could use a more dynamic, playmaking safety who can contribute both in the box and in coverage. One prospect who fits that mold is Antonio Johnson from Texas A&M. Johnson is an extremely versatile safety who can play both in the deep secondary and in the box. He's great in run support and has the kind of physicality that would make him a valuable asset in Dallas's defense. His coverage skills are also impressive, making him an all-around contributor who could help solidify the back end of the Cowboys' defense. Looking at the bigger picture, Dallas is in a unique position heading into this draft. They don't have any glaring needs on their roster, which gives them the freedom to be more aggressive in their draft strategy. They can target specific players who can help improve their overall roster depth and plug in a few key spots where they can upgrade. Whether it's on the defensive line, in the secondary, or at linebacker, the Cowboys have several paths they could take to become a more well-rounded team. The key is finding the right balance of best player available and addressing the most immediate needs. Of course, as always, there are the trade rumors. The Cowboys are no strangers to making bold moves, and if there's a chance to snag a player who can make an immediate impact, they might be inclined to pull the trigger. With the draft being so unpredictable, there's a real possibility that they may find themselves in a situation where they need to move up to secure a player they believe can help them right away. If a player like Jalen Carter or Joey Porter Jr. falls unexpectedly, don't be surprised if Dallas makes a move to trade up and take advantage of that opportunity. One final note as we wrap up this second part of our draft preview. The Cowboys have to be smart with their selections. They can't afford to reach for a player just to fill a position. The team has built a solid foundation, and it's important that they stay true to their strategy and continue to build around their core pieces. The draft is about finding the best talent available and ensuring that the team remains competitive for years to come. If they can make the right picks, 2025 could be the year that Dallas takes that next step toward a championship. Keep your fingers crossed, Cowboys fans. The draft is just around the corner and the possibilities are endless. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. The Dallas Cowboys have officially parted ways with offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer in a move that signals yet another major shakeup for a franchise desperate to turn postseason frustrations into playoff success. After just one season in the role, Schottenheimer's departure was confirmed by team officials early this morning, sending waves through the Cowboys fan base and raising fresh questions about the future of head coach Mike McCarthy and the offensive direction of the team heading into the 2025 NFL season. Schottenheimer, brought in to oversee the offense while McCarthy took over play calling duties last year, found himself in a limited role from the outset. Despite a strong regular season performance by quarterback Dak Prescott and an offense that led the league in scoring, the Cowboys collapsed in the playoffs yet again, falling flat in the wildcard round against a lower-seeded opponent. The loss, coupled with long-standing criticism over the team's lack of creativity and failure to adjust in key moments, appears to have sealed Schottenheimer's fate. Insiders report that the decision to dismiss Schottenheimer was not solely performance-based, but rather part of a broader organizational push to reset the coaching staff and reimagine the offensive scheme. Jerry Jones, known for his hands-on approach and desire to win now, has made it clear that more changes could follow if results do not improve. The Cowboys have not reached the NFC Championship game since the 1995 season, and with a talented roster in place, patience is wearing thin in Arlington. As the Cowboys begin to search for a new offensive coordinator, names like Kellen Moore, Greg Roman, and even college innovators could surface. Whoever steps into the role will inherit a high-pressure environment with little margin for error. With Dak Prescott entering the final year of his contract and questions swirling about the long-term vision of the franchise, the next hire could be pivotal in determining whether the Cowboys can finally deliver on their potential or continue to fall short when it matters most. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.